Hello and welcome to WooStream, where we're bringing Willamette to you. My name is Abby Kahl, and I'm the Senior Associate Director of Alumni and Parent Engagement. This past spring, we moved our Willamette Career Network to LinkedIn, where over 35,000 of our alumni are actively engaged in professional networking. We now have groups for our alums and students to connect across college, region, affinity, and career interests. Given the prominence of LinkedIn, we wanted to provide a refresher for those of us who have been on the platform for a while but could use a refresh, along with best practices on how to engage on LinkedIn and how to put your best foot forward as you connect with fellow alums and students. Our guest this evening is Carly Pon, Assistant Director of Career Management at the Atkinson Graduate School of Management. She holds a bachelor's in organizational communication and business from George Fox University and a master's in higher education and student affairs from the University of Portland. She brings more than 5 years of experience in higher ed, as well as several years of experience in corporate event management and professional sports management. Carly joined the Willamette Career Management team in 2021 and has been a wonderful asset to our Willamette family. Carly, thank you so much for joining us today and taking the time to talk on all things LinkedIn with us.
Of course. Thank you, Abby. I'm going to go ahead and start by just sharing my screen here, and then I will pull up our slides and we can get moving and talk about LinkedIn. So first of all, thank you all for tuning in. And this is just called Let's Get LinkedIn, and it's a learning session about, you guessed it, LinkedIn. So I'm going to give you, the lay of the land and talk about our agenda for this afternoon. So first, we're going to talk a little bit about LinkedIn profile best practices. So things that you should focus on if you're maybe creating a profile or sprucing up your profile that maybe hasn't gotten enough love in the last few years or hasn't been updated. We'll talk a little bit about LinkedIn networking and the tools that are available for you on the site. And then finally, we'll talk about job and company searches and how you can utilize different features on LinkedIn to your advantage as you're searching for jobs, internships, looking to make connections, all that good stuff. So diving right in, thinking about your profile, there are a few sections that a lot of folks maybe neglect as they're creating their LinkedIn and need to come back to fill in or adjust down the road. One of those is your skills section. I see maybe someone who has a LinkedIn for, 10, 15 years. They made it really young. Their skills sections tend to be very full. But not everything on those skills sections is relevant for the job or industry that they're interested in being part of. And so they're adding things that are not relevant to their search. For example, if you are focusing on finding an accounting position, you don't need to really share that you've got, social media skills in your skills section, where accounting recruiters are mostly going to focus on those hard technical skills that directly relate to accounting. So making sure that as you're looking through your skills section, are there skills that you may not need? Are there skills relevant to the job that you're interested in or industry? And then with that, especially if you're in the job search in this job market right now, making sure that you certify skills that you can, a little bit goes a long way. So what does certification or certifying skills on LinkedIn mean? It just means that you can take a little quiz on LinkedIn. It doesn't take very long. I took one for Adobe InDesign just to see what it was like. It took maybe 5 minutes. They ask you a few questions. And if you get more answers right than 75% of the other users taking that quiz, you get certified in that skill because it shows that you have the top knowledge. And that just, again, shows I've got the skills. I actually do know what I'm talking about. Anyone could say I'm certified in Excel, but if you can actually get on there and answer correct questions, just shows a little more that you know what you're talking about. A note from a recruiter on a skills section, an updated skills section with relevant skills to the job you're applying for helps you pop up in search strings. So if you're looking for a new position, updating that skills section is going to be really important. Continuing on to another section that a lot of people don't think of or maybe neglect is that endorsements section. And endorsements are from other LinkedIn members that can kind of talk about the skills and increase your credibility because it's an outside individual saying, no, I actually know this person and they do know what they're talking about. They have done this job. They are a really great resource or option to fill this position for you. And so thinking about, okay, so I understand how to get certified in skills on LinkedIn. I understand how to update my skills. How the heck do I get endorsed on LinkedIn? Well, you have a couple of ways to do that. First, you go through your network and identify connections who you feel genuinely deserve an endorsement from you, and you would write them an endorsement about their skills, their experience, their leadership, whatever is most pertinent. And then this will most likely trigger folks to return the favor. If it doesn't, or let's say maybe you don't want to go that route and you want to make sure you get a return on your investment in endorsements, you can ask politely for an endorsement of someone that you know, and you could in turn write them an endorsement. This has happened for me. I had an old colleague that was job searching, and he came to me and said, "Hey, I'm in the search. If I write you an endorsement, would you mind writing me one?" And I was like, "Sure, absolutely, no problem." And this way you can also kind of outline, I'm really looking for someone to endorse me in leadership. And since, I worked with you on this project, could you talk about that? Things like that. And so endorsements are a great way to add some credibility to your profile. Remember that you want to reach out to people who endorsements mean something to you and are going to endorse you on skills relevant to the job that you want. So again, if you babysat for someone in the 5th grade and they're endorsing you on your responsibility, but they haven't talked to you since you were 12, it might not be a great endorsement. So just things to keep in mind as you're looking for endorsements, trying to get endorsements and give folks endorsements. Moving right along further into our profile, something that we see on every profile, and we'll take a closer look at further along in the presentation, is your LinkedIn header. This is typically that little teeny bio that pops up when you search someone's name. It will give you just a snippet a lot of people have their job title or the school they graduated from. And it just kind of gives folks an idea of where they're at, what they're doing. And can kind of grab the attention and bring you in to look at their profile. Your header does not have to be your job title or, example, Willamette University grad 2020. We see a lot of those. That's not a requirement. You can have that if you really like that, but it's not something that we say it's this or nothing. I would use this headline to tell a story. All right. It's very short, but who are you? What makes you tick? Why do you do what you do? What industry are you interested in? You have some creative freedom here. And if you do not want creative freedom, we have some examples. And these were taken from some students that I've worked with in the past. So in example 1, strategic thinker, lifelong learner. Example 2, MBA candidate, passionate about people management, process improvement in the Pacific Northwest. And then finally, example 3 is former intern at KPMG and Woo alumni. So these are things that, folks can kind of see, okay, I know what you're interested in. I know where you're coming from. It gives me a little snippet into who you are professionally. The second example does say a little bit of personal, they're passionate about the Pacific Northwest. You don't have to have that in there, but it does give a nice little something extra of, oh, okay, they're invested in this community. They're invested in this region. Maybe someone from upstate New York might look at that and decide, oh, they're passionate about the Northwest. I have a project that directly responds to the Pacific Northwest. They have the skills I'm looking for, whatever it might be. So it could, help give people a little clue into who you are when they maybe know nothing else about you. So keep those things in mind as you're writing your header. Finally, my last few tips and tricks on completing your profile are to one, make sure that you have an updated and professional headshot. If you have a picture of you that is 25 years old and it's kind of blurry, and maybe you're with, a group of 15 other people, that's probably not the best option for your LinkedIn. Getting a headshot can just be as simple as standing in front of a wall and having someone take a picture of you on their phone. Pretty easy to get done, but important that you have it. I would say number two, that background image that is behind your headshot or your bio picture, that background is equally as important. Without a bio or a background image, your profile can look incomplete. So LinkedIn offers a few that you can choose from. You could upload your own, but I do suggest that you add a professional and relevant background image. Number three, and maybe one of the biggest things, is make sure that you complete your summary. This summary reads almost like a cover letter, right? It's your chance to tell your own story. And so things we want to make sure that you add in there are what key skills do you have, adding any job titles in your summary that are relevant to the position that you want, what experience you bring to the table, right? Like, have you been working in nonprofits for 15 years? That would be great to highlight. What makes you unique? And then finally, please, please, please make sure that you run your summary by a few trusted people and spend some time on this. It is very easy to make mistakes in your summary and have it not make sense. And so asking someone to review it, a parent, a trusted friend, a partner, someone from the career office, we're happy to provide that support and read things to make sure that it sounds like you want it to sound and it makes sense. Okay. So pivoting away from how we're building out our profiles, right? We've done those things. We've added what we need to add. We've updated. We've got a new profile picture. We're feeling good. Let's talk about how to utilize your network on LinkedIn. So first, I'm coming from the angle of working with our MBA candidates. So I always have to say, if you are an Atkinson alumni, make sure that you join the Willamette MBA page. And if you are an undergraduate alumni, make sure that you're adding the Willamette University page as well. And I'm going to show you what those look like in just a second. But those two resources are so big and so important in connecting with other alumni, students, professors, faculty, staff, folks that have retired, folks from years past. It's just really important that you turn to these resources if you're looking to make those connections. So I'm going to go ahead and exit out of my screen share here, and we're going to flop over to our actual LinkedIn. And when I search Willamette University, this is the first one that pops up. And we're going to go ahead and click on that. And then, sorry, my Wi-Fi is a little slow. So when this loads, I will show you, this is the page. We can see that it's got 23,000 followers, 17,000 alumni here, which is great. We can kind of see these tabs are where we're going to focus all of our efforts, particularly this alumni tab here. And so if you are coming to LinkedIn because you want to connect with someone who works in a certain industry or has a certain job, you can come in and you can search through all 16,996 alumni that have connected with this page. And you can search them from a couple different angles. You can see where they work, right? Obviously, our top employer, Willamette University, state of Oregon, we've got Nike. You can go ahead and head on down. You can see where they live, what they do, what sector they're in, what skills they have, on and on. You can also start by searching maybe the year they graduated, the year they started. Maybe there's someone that you went to school with that you want to connect with again, but you can't quite find them because maybe their last name changed or something different. You can search through the years that they were at school. And you can also search by keyword, title, or company. So for example, I was looking for a student at San Diego. So if I were to search San Diego, 17 alumni are in some way connected with San Diego. And so when I come down here, I can see, okay, McKenna is, working at a school in San Diego. We've got other folks that are at other positions. And then we can say, oh, wow, I'm really interested in, what Connor's doing with the San Diego Padres. You can go and review his profile. And then if you're interested, I am connected with Connor, but you can send a connection request. And we always say, when you want to connect with someone, make sure that you send a message saying, hey, this is who I am. I'm a fellow alumni. I'm really interested in the work that you're doing with your organization. I'd love to learn more about you, or I'd love to partner with you, yada, 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 whatever your reasoning might be. But it is helpful to send a note with your connection request so that folks know why you're reaching out to them. And again, if you went to the law school, there's a law school page. There's lots of different pages that you can search through, and you can use that feature to highlight, places, skills, positions, whatever you're interested in, or whoever you're interested in finding, you can search using this tool. And that is really what we utilize LinkedIn for the most in the career office. Obviously, we have some other things, but making sure that you can search for those alumni and get connected is so important and such a valuable resource. Along with that, and very similar, is how to search and research companies. Again, this is another tool on LinkedIn that sometimes we don't use fully. And so you can identify organizations, you can look them up on LinkedIn. So let's again say that we're interested in Nike, and we can come through, we can search Nike on LinkedIn, and then boom, once we click on them, we are in Nike's LinkedIn page. We can see, 6 million followers, 10,000 plus employees, all this good stuff. You can read about them, you can see jobs. But when we again come to this last tab and see this people tab, very similar to our alumni page, we can search through and see, okay, they've got almost 70,000 people that are somehow associated with Nike, whether they work there now, they worked there previously, they volunteered, whatever that might be. You can search through where they live, where they studied, very similar, what they do. You can do keywords. The only thing that we don't have here is a start and end year. But again, everyone is going to be listed down here. So you could come through and kind of see, okay, I'm interested in connecting with this person. Same thing, we advise that you would send a connection request with a note explaining who you are, why you're interested in connecting with them. Folks are maybe not always going to connect with you on a cold LinkedIn request, especially if they're not alumni or you don't have some sort of connection. But I say it never hurts to try if you're interested in networking with folks. Maybe you're looking for a speaker or someone to bring to an event. I would just send them a note and see what happens. If you don't ask, the answer is no. If you do ask, you have a 50-50 shot, right? So I say send the note, make the connection, and see what happens. Along with that, let's say you're in a heavy job search and things are tough like they are right now. Looking up, you're interested in apparel or retail. Okay, we see Nike. On this side over here, you can also view pages people also viewed. It'll bring you to other similar organizations. People also follow these groups. And then it'll give you connections that work here, yada, yada, yada. And you could go through and say, oh, wow, I never thought about Puma. And you can go through and look through Puma, and it just extends your rabbit hole further, because then again, it gives you other options that you can look into. That is one of the easiest ways to start doing research on organizations when maybe you're feeling like, I don't know where to start, or I have one organization that I'm interested in. I don't know where to go from there. I don't know what's similar. Or maybe you only have a certain industry. You can search for one organization in that industry, and it'll lead you down many options for other places that would be good for you to view. Again, The right side will give you affiliated pages. People also viewed pages, or people also follow these pages, and that give you an idea. All of those organizations, for the most part, should have some sort of, here's the jobs that are available on LinkedIn, so you can search through. I also recommend when you identify a company, you also look on their website to see what they have available. Same thing, once again, can't stress it enough. Don't forget to send a note with any connection requests explaining who you are, why you're reaching out, why you would like to connect. That will help get your engagement up with folks and hopefully get a return and an acceptance on those connection requests. And then our last few other tools and quick tips. If you have not used LinkedIn very much, and if you are on the job search right now, make sure that you set up job alerts. You can go into your profile and set up job alerts very easily that you can click, I'm interested in project management or nonprofit management, or I'm interested in policy work, or whatever your industry might be. You can select multiple industries, and you'll receive daily emails with updated job lists based on the criteria that you set for yourself. Maybe you're only looking for part-time work, or only full-time work, or only remote. You can set those parameters. Those job alerts help you kind of sift through the sometimes thousands of jobs that are on LinkedIn that can get a little mundane to flip through. So definitely recommend job alerts. You can also go into your profile and customize your URL so that instead of being linkedin.com/first, last name, and the whole alphabet and 100 numbers, you can customize it to say, I think mine is just linkedin.com/Carly Pond or something like that. So you can make it really easy and short and concise. So you can put it on your resume, you can put it on a business card, you can put it on a website, and it just looks a little more clean. And finally, one other tip is just to make sure that if you have industry-specific jargon or acronym, a great example at Willamette is a lot of people list TIUA, and no one outside of Willamette generally knows what TIUA is. Tokyo International University. You want to make sure that you are spelling those things out so people can say, oh, that's what that is. That makes a lot more sense. If you've got jargon or acronyms and you've got a recruiter looking at your profile and they don't understand what you do, what you're saying, you're not going to get any hits on that. So just make sure that everything makes sense for anyone who could be looking, and you're connecting the dots for the recruiter, not asking them to recruit or to connect the dots for themselves. That is my very condensed and very quick LinkedIn overview. We are always happy to help our alumni. Our career office serves our alumni for life. So if you are in the midst of a job search, you need some support sprucing up your LinkedIn, you want us to look through profiles or summaries, or you're interested in folks that you should connect with, feel free to send us an email or a connection request on LinkedIn, and we'd be happy to connect with you and make sure that your needs are being met as you're fulfilling your job search or whatever you happen to have going on at the moment.
Perfect. Thank you, Carly. A couple of quick questions. So as we're looking at connecting alumni and students, do you see a lot of value in both students and alumni adding the activities that they were involved in at Willamette in their undergraduate? And does that weigh into anything as you're looking at an employer standpoint, whether if depending on the group?
Absolutely. A really easy example of that is, let's say you were involved in a sorority or a fraternity. There are national chapters of those sororities and fraternities, and someone could see that and say, oh my gosh, they're a brother or a sister or whatever the language is, and I want to connect with them, or I'd like to give them a shot. It can help build that rapport with someone before you even get to know them. It can also highlight skills that maybe you gained, by organizing a canned food drive on campus that you haven't gained in any other experience. And so there's always value in adding those things that you were involved with. And it can also just help you connect with folks that say, I did something very similar in my college experience. Or I have a passion for that outside. Now that I'm outside of school, can we talk about what you did for that? So yes, there's absolutely value in adding those things. I always say we have limited space on our resume, but we have kind of unlimited space on our LinkedIn. So add it to your LinkedIn and just have it there as an option to showcase in the event that it resonates and makes sense for a recruiter or someone that you're trying to connect with.
Perfect. Thank you. Before we close out, are there any final thoughts or things that we should stay tuned for in terms of opportunities to support students and or just some final thoughts as we close out?
Yeah, I would say if you're an alumni and you're on LinkedIn, if you receive a connection request and maybe a note from a student that's either a really great note or maybe not a great note, I encourage you to add those students and to work with them, guide them, mentor them. Students are just starting out, and so they need help and support. And that comes from, a lot of people get their first start from alumni support network help. And so if you see those things come through, don't be shy to connect with our students and, give them some insight, share your wisdom with them, and help guide them as they're developing in their career and as their own individual, both personally and professionally.
Perfect. I would also add too, if you know that your company offers an internship for undergraduate or graduate students, you can message Carly and I on LinkedIn directly, or share it to one of our regional or affinity-based groups or any of the school-associated career networking groups that we have out there. Our students are always looking for great opportunities to engage in a potential community or a job. And so we don't always hear about those. And that's a great opportunity. And then we can help spread the word with our students about those opportunities that are out there. We hope that you enjoyed this webinar. And Carly, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to share these really great tips with us. I know we'll continue educating folks about LinkedIn as we grow this platform. But if the folks out there, if you enjoyed this conversation, be sure to check out our WooStream playlist on Willamette's YouTube page. We'd also love to hear your suggestions for alumni, faculty, or guests that we should connect with, or topics that we should pursue. And you're welcome to send those to us at alumni@willamette.edu. Thank you again for joining us. And as always, take care.